Good morning, everyone present here. In today's webinar of Grade 8, the housekeeping rules for today are as follows. Please make sure your mic is on mute during the session to facilitate a noise-free environment. Please make use of the chat box for quick communications. The chat box is on the top right corner of your Google Meet screen. Please do not click on the Present Now button. This icon is located on the bottom right corner of the screen. Please turn off the camera video to avoid any network issues. When you have to speak, please unmute and one person will speak at a time. While speaking, turn on your camera. Now the first thing we have today's evening is the invocation song by Chand and Pradanya. I'd like to invite them.
शुक्लाम्बरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्याये सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये गजमुखने गणपतिये निनगे वन्दने ನಂಬಿದವರ ಪಾಲಿನ ಕಲ್ಪತರು ನೀನೆ ಗಜಮುಖನೇ ಗಣಪತಿಯೇ ನಿನಗೆ ವಂದನೆ ನಂಬಿದವರ ಪಾಲಿನ ಕಲ್ಪತರು ನೀನೆ ಭಾದ್ರಪದ ಶುಕ್ಲತಾ ಚೌತಿಯಂದು ನೀ ಮನೆ ಮನೆಗೂ ದಯ ಮಾಡಿ ಹರಸು ಎಂದು ಭಾದ್ರಪದ ಶುಕ್ಲತಾ ಚೌತಿಯಂದು ನೀ ಮನೆ ಮನೆಗೂ ದಯ ಮಾಡಿ ಹರಸು ಎಂದು ನಿನ್ನ ಸಂವಿಧಾನಕ್ಕೆ ತಲೆ ಬಾಗಿ ಕೈಯ ಮುಗಿದು ಬೇಡುವ ಭಕ್ತರಿಗೆ ನೀ ದಯಾ ಸಿಂಧು
ಗಜಮುಖನೇ ಗಣಪತಿಯೇ ನಿನಗೆ ವಂದನೆ ನಂಬಿದವರ ಪಾಲಿನ ಕಲ್ಪತರು ನೀನೆ ನೀರೇನು ಲೋಕದ ಇಹ ಪರದ ಸಾಧನೆಗೆ ನೀನೆ ಕಾರಣ ಈರೇನು ಲೋಕದ ಅನುವಿನ ಇಹ ಪರದ ಸಾಧನೆಗೆ ನೀನೆ ಕಾರಣ ನಿನ್ನರುವೆ ನೋಟದ ಒಂದು ಹೊನ್ನ ಕಿರಣ ನೀಡಿದರೆ ಸಾಕಯ್ಯ ಜನ್ಮ ಪಾವನ ಗಜಮುಖನೇ ಗಣಪತಿಯೇ ನಿನಗೆ ವಂದನೆ ನಂಬಿದರ ಪಾಲಿನ ಕಲ್ಪತರು ನೀನೆ ಗಜಮುಖನೇ ಗಣಪತಿಯೇ ನಿನಗೆ ವಂದನೆ ನಂಬಿದವರ ಪಾಲಿನ ಕಲ್ಪತರು ನೀನೆ ನಂಬಿದವರ ಪಾಲಿನ ಕಲ್ಪತರು ನೀನೆ ನಂಬಿದವರ ಪಾಲಿನ ಕಲ್ಪತರು ನೀನೆ. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pradanya and Chand, for enlightening us with that beautiful song.
A warm welcome to everyone present here. I am Manjunath.
And I'm Pragna, and we welcome the students of grade 5 to 7, the parents, and our dear principal ma'am, who we thank for this opportunity, and our dear teachers as well.
Alternative resources for a better tomorrow. We need better resources for the betterment of our future generation. Energy resources are many, but some are in the verge of depleting. We have to have reliable resources for the next generation.
The objectives for today's event are the advantages, disadvantages, properties, and other essential things about solar energy, wind energy, hydroelectricity, geothermal, biomass, oceanic energy, and hydrogen energy. First, let's discuss why we need alternative resources. The current energy resources are limited and non-renewable. They will run out in about 5 decades. Alternative resources provide reliable power supply and fuel diversification. It helps to save fossil fuels. Alternative sources are not polluting the environment and are helping us to reduce the level of greenhouse gas emission in the atmosphere and reduce climatic changes. And to discuss about that, we have very important people to explain to us the pros and cons of each energy source. The first speakers we have are Tanmaya and Pavan to talk about solar energy.
Hello, everybody. I am Pawan.
And I'm Tanmaya, and we are going to talk about everything you need to know about solar energy.
All of us have been outside on a hot sunny summer day and complained about the heat and how annoying it was. Now, did you know that this sunlight that causes the heat can be a source of energy?
Solar energy is when we take the sun's radiant light and heat that is harnessed using a wide range of ever evolving technologies such as solar heating, photovoltaics, solar thermal energy, and solar architecture, etc.
The sun is an essential source of renewable energy that is characterized as either passive solar or active solar, depending on how the convert the sunlight into energy.
Solar hot water systems use pumps or fans to circulate fluid or air through solar collectors and are therefore classified under active solar technology. Whereas in passive solar buildings, design, windows, walls, and floors are made to collect, store, reflect, and distribute solar energy in the form of heat in the winter and reject solar heat in the summer. This is called passive solar design because, unlike active solar heating systems, it does not involve the use of mechanical and electrical devices.
Now, for some properties, as we all know, solar energy is a renewable energy as it comes from sun, and sun isn't getting exhausted anytime soon. The large magnitude of solar energy makes it highly appealing source of energy. This is just the explanation of the previous point. The sun's exhaustion is not taking place anytime soon, which is why it is capable of being a resource for a long time.
In 2011, the United Nations Development said that the development of affordable, inexhaustible, and clean solar energy technologies will have huge term benefits. They, are, they have also said that it will increase countries' energy security through reliance on an indigenous, inexhaustible, and mostly import independent resources. Hence, sustainability, reduce pollution, lower the cost of mitigating global warming, and keep fossil fuels prices lower than otherwise.
Some advantages of solar energy are it is renewable and pollution free. It is almost classified as unlimited energy, but the sun will come to an end but anytime soon. Reduced electricity bills. This is a very cheap method of using electricity. Less to no maintenance of years. It doesn't need much maintenance. We can get a lot of solar energy during the summer as it is very hot. Diverse application. It can be used for quite a lot of things and it can be easily stored in a battery.
Now, for the disadvantages, it needs a lot of space to be stored in. It has a high initial cost but reduces in time. There will be no availability of solar power during the night or cloudy days. There can't be much solar power during the winter. DC equipment for solar energy is quite expensive, and the batteries used to store the solar energy is very expensive too. That was all about solar energy that you have to know to say that we can depend on this form of energy for a while into the future.
Here we have a of solar energy. Here
Yashas,
we have
please mute yourself. Yashas, please mute yourself.
Here we have a statistics of solar energy. Annual potential of solar energy makes it highly appealing electricity. This is larger than a world energy consumption, which is 559.8 exahaus in 2012. The additional cost of insensitive of early deployment are considered learning interest. They must be spent wisely.
Tamya and Pavan, thank you very much for this educational session. Moving on, we have the next topic. Manjunath, would you like to take over?
Sure, thank you, Pragna. Moving on, we have Anirudh and Yashas for wind energy.
I am Anirudh.
And I'm Yas. We are going to explain about wind energy.
Wind energy is the energy created by the movement of wind or airflow. Modern turbines use kinetic energy from wind to generate electricity. It is also the fastest growing mode of electricity production across the world. China is the largest producer of wind energy.
The first topic we'll touch is the uses of wind energy. Here are few. Wind energy generates wind power, which in turn creates electricity. It is also the one of the most energy source of this planet. It is used in transportation as well. People play a lot of wind sports like paragliding, skydiving, etc. Wind energy helps in pumping water too, due to the pressure.
Some advantages of wind energy are it creates jobs. People who are unemployed can work at a wind turbine place. It is a clean fuel source. It is renewable and can be used anytime since winds blow all the time in most of the areas. Wind is a domestic source of energy. It is definitely going to be there for the future generation as well. Wind turbines don't need a specific place to be built. They can even be built on existing farms or ranches.
Some disadvantages: the wind fluctuation. It can be difficult to be consistent with the energy production. Wind turbines are quite expensive to afford. Wind turbine creates visual pollution as well. That was everything about wind energy.
Thank you very much for this informative session.
Moving on, we have the next topic by Chand, Suhani, and Pradanya, which is hydroelectricity production.
Thank you, Pragna. I'm Chand.
I'm Suhani.
And I'm Pradanya, and we are here to explain about hydroelectricity.
Hydroelectricity plays an important role in our lives and electricity production. Hydroelectricity is the production of hydropower. It has comparatively low cost and is easily affordable. It is produced in almost 150 countries. Most hydroelectricity comes from dam water and turbine generators.
How is hydroelectricity produced? Hydroelectricity is produced from hydropower, and the most hydropower comes from potential energy of direct water, driving a water turbine and generator. The power extracted from the water depends upon the volume of the height between the source and the water outflow. This height difference is called the head. A large pipe or penstock delivers the water from the reservoir to the turbine. Statistics: hydro stations consume no water unlike gas plants. China was the largest hydroelectricity producer in 2013. Hydroelectricity is 16.6 of the world's total electricity produced in 2015. Hydroelectricity is produced in total of 150 countries. Hydroelectricity costs low and making it easily available. Here are the advantages of hydroelectricity. Hydroelectricity is a flexible source of electricity since the stations can be ramped up and down very quickly to adapt the changing energy demands. The cost of hydroelectricity is relatively low, making it a competitive source of renewable electricity. The hydro station consumes no water, unlike coal or gas plants. While many hydroelectric projects supply public electricity networks, some are created to serve specific industrial enterprises. Reduced carbon dioxide emissions. Since hydroelectric dams do not use fuel, power generation does not produce carbon dioxide. It generally has the lowest life cycle greenhouse gas emissions for power generation.
Here are the disadvantages of hydroelectricity: ecosystem damage and loss of land. Hydroelectric power stations that use dams submerge large areas of land due to the requirement of a reservoir. It also destroys biologically rich and productive lowland and riverine valley biomes. Methane emissions. As it has been noted that the reservoirs of the power plants in tropical regions produce sustainable amounts of methane. This is due to the plant material in flooded areas decaying in anaerobic environment and forming methane. Relocation. Another disadvantage of hydroelectric dams is the need to relocate the people living where the reservoirs are planned. In 2000, the World Commission on Dams estimated that dams had physically displaced 40 to 80 million people worldwide.
Thank you for sharing this information with us. Manjunath, have you ever heard of energy from the Earth's surface?
No, I have never heard of anything as such. Can you tell me more about it?
That's why we have Anirudh and Yashas to explain to us about geothermal energy, which is extracted from the surface of the Earth.
We are going to explore about geothermal energy. Geothermal is the energy we get from ground. Thermal energy generated and stored in the earth. Water or stream carry the energy to the earth's surface.
How is geothermal energy created? Geothermal power plants, which use heat pumps from deep inside the earth to generate steam to make electricity, and geothermal heat pumps, which tap into heat close to the earth's surface to heat water or provide heat for buildings. When hot water is pumped from deep underground through well under high pressure, it reaches the surface and the pressure is dropped, which causes this water to turn into steam. The steam spins a turbine which is connected to a generator that produces electricity. Thus, geothermal energy is created.
It can offer incredible potential. It is an exhaustibility energy source and a nearly emission-free heat. Heat energy is found in different rock types that make up the Earth's surface and the deeper in the crust. The deeper you get, the hotter it is.
If it is healthy for the environment, why don't humans use it often?
Geothermal drilling is also one of the main reasons why the world doesn't use it more. Less expensive drilling, wider area to harness the resource from, and reduced capital costs. These are all the solutions on which the global geothermal energy industry should build its future progress on.
Every resource has its advantages and disadvantages. Some advantages of geothermal energy are environmental friendly, renewable, has huge potential, sustainable, heating and cooling, reliable, no fuel required, rapid evolution.
Some disadvantages of geothermal energy are surface instability. expensive, location specific, some sustainability issues, ecosystem damage and a loss of land, water loss by evaporation, siltation and flow shortage, and methane emissions from reservoirs.
These are been the advantages and disadvantages of geothermal energy till now.
Thank you, Anirudh and Yashas, for another amazing session.
Moving on, we have biomass energy explained by Pradanya and Aditya.
Hello everyone. Hope you're having a great day. I'm Pradanya.
And I am Aditya. We are here to explain about biomass. It is a conventional energy source such as oil. Biomass contains stored energy from the sun. It is a clean, renewable source of energy. Biomass is an organic material from plants and animals.
One of the most promising energy sources considered to be an alternative to conventional energy sources such as oil, natural gas, etc. It's a clean, renewable energy source that could dramatically improve our environment, economy, and energy security.
Biomass is the energy that contains stored energy from the sun. Plants absorb the sun's energy in a process called photosynthesis. Biomass can be burned directly and converted to liquid biofuels or biogas that can be burned as fuel.
How is biomass energy produced? In a direct combustion system, biomass is burnt in a combustor or furnace to generate hot gas. It is fed into a boiler where it generates steam, which is expanded through a steam turbine or steam engine to produce mechanical or electrical energy.
Here are a few ways to release the energy stored in biomass. Burning. When mass is burned, it releases some energy. When bacteria lives in the mass, it provokes some energy release. When matter decays, it mixes into the environment and becomes biomass energy. An example of fermentation is lactobacillus in curd. When the fermentation takes place, more energy is released. Conversion to gas or liquid fuel energy. When matter is converted into another form, it causes an energy release.
Some main forms of biomass are the following: wood and agricultural products like logs, chips, barks, and sawdust account for the largest proportion of biomass energy. Biodiesel, made from vegetable oil, animal fat, and recycled grease, can replace normal diesel in cars, trucks, and ships, blended to reduce pollution from diesel engines. Landfill gas and biogas. Sewage and agricultural waste is put into high temperature digesters so it rots more quickly. The gas is then captured and used as fuel.
Some advantages of biomass are human and animal waste is always available, doesn't produce sulfur or mercury, and releases less nitrogen than coal. It is quite cheap compared to other energies. Using waste for energy reduces the amount that ends up in a landfill. Anyone could produce biomass energy, reducing the need for centralized power. Bio-oils can also be used for plastics, medicines, and other consumer products.
And here are some disadvantages of biomass energy. Energy crops take up land which can be used for farming, conservation, and housing. Releases carbon dioxide, which needs to be carefully monitored so it doesn't exceed limits. There's a smell and methane gas is released. Risk of deforestation with uncontrolled biomass production. Mass production of biomass needs an extensive and costly irrigation infrastructure. With the current technology, biomass energy is behind fossil fuels and energy efficiency.
Here are the properties of biomass. It is an alternative to conventional energies such as oil. It contains stored energy from the sun, and it is eco-friendly as it does not damage the environment because this energy is from the environment.
Thank you, Pradanya and Aditya.
Have you ever been to a beach, Manjunath?
Yes, who hasn't? I also know that there are machines that can get the energy from the tidal movements as well, but I have always wanted to know more.
So now we have the next segment explained by Tanmaya and Pavan, which is oceanic energy.
The ocean can produce thermal energy from the sun's heat. The ocean currents and tides can generate electricity by spinning a turbine. The waves also carry energy that can be converted into electricity used in power homes.
Marine and hydrokinetic technologies. The movement of the waves carries energy that can be harnessed and converted into electricity that can be used to power homes, buildings, and cities.
The movement occurs naturally when tidal waves crash into the coastline and tidal current flows. The energy available in the moving water is called kinetic energy, and it can be used to generate electricity.
So, how can this energy be captured from moving water?
Good question. This is why we have bios. A bio can harness energy from the vertical rise and fall of the ocean waves, as well as the front and back and the side to side movement of them.
While currents and tides can generate electricity by spinning a turbine. So, every device used to capture hydrokinetic energy must be able to withstand a turbulent and harsh condition and to be designed and preserve the integrity of a marine environment.
With oceans covering over 75% of planet's surface and many water resources located near the most populated areas, ocean energy has great potential as a plentiful renewable resources.
Thank you, Pavan and Tanmaya, for this educational question and answer session with us today.
Last but not the least, we have the energy produced from hydrogen, explained by Suhani and Aditya.
Thank you, Pragna. Hydrogen is a substitute for liquid and fossil fuels. Hydrogen is a clean fuel. It has a high energy content by weight, and it can be produced from diverse and domestic resources.
This, this is a pictorial representation of how hydrogen is purified and how the electricity is produced out of it. First, the water's components of hydrogen and oxygen are separated. This hydrogen and oxygen are put into a fuel cell. Using the hydrogen, we can create electricity. And then hydrogen is mixed with oxygen to form water, which can be reused.
Here are the properties of hydrogen as fuel. It is tasteless, non-toxic, diatomic gas, highly combustible, non-metallic, has a molecular formula of hydrogen, colorless and odorless.
Hydrogen as fuel. Hydrogen energy involves the use of hydrogen or hydrogen containing compounds to generate energy. It is an energy carrier that can be used for a broad range of applications. It can be used as a commercial fuel in vehicles such as cars and buses.
Some potential applications of hydrogen energy are: it helps in production of electricity, water, and various other resources. It plays a major role in industrial applications, vehicular transport, and residential applications. It helps in commercial applications such as providing power to telecom towers and backup power.
Some advantages of hydrogen energy are: it doesn't produce harmful emissions, it is environment friendly, it can be used as fuel in rockets, it is fuel efficient, it is renewable, and has a rapid evolution.
And some disadvantages of hydrogen energy are: it is quite expensive to afford, it is difficult to store, it is not easy to replace existing infrastructure, and it is highly inflammable.
Thank you, Suhani and Aditya, for this explanation.
Here is a visual representation on the type of energy most used in India. Coal consumes about 56%, oil 30%, natural gas 6%, hydroelectricity 4%, renewables 3%, and nuclear energy 1%.
Now we have we have now we summarize everything we heard and saw today through a video.
Afternoon, one and all present here. I am here today to summarize our today's presentation on the topic Alternative Resources for a Better Tomorrow. The various topics we ventured into today are solar energy, wind energy, hydroelectricity, geothermal energy, biomass energy, oceanic energy, and lastly, hydrogen energy. The first topic we saw today was solar energy. Solar energy is the energy we get from the sun. It is a highly appealing source of energy and an essential source of renewable energy. The next energy we ventured into was the wind energy. It is the electricity created by wind, or airflow. It is the fastest growing mode of electricity production across the planet. The next energy we looked into was hydroelectricity. It is obtained from dam water and a turbine generator. Hydropower is produced in total 150 countries. Hydroelectricity costs low, making it easily available. The next energy we saw was geothermal energy. It is the energy that is stored and generated in the earth. It is harnessed through a geothermal power plant. It offers great potential and is a limitless source of energy. The fifth energy we learned was biomass energy. Biomass is an organic matter that is made in the nature. There are three main forms of biomass energy. They are agricultural products, biodiesel, landfill gas and biogas. We also looked at oceanic energy, which is the energy that is obtained from the movement of the waves. This energy can be harnessed using a hydroelectric plant. And the ocean can also produce thermal energy from the sun's heat. Finally, we looked at hydrogen energy. Hydrogen energy is a clean fuel and can be used as a substitute for liquid and fossil fuels. And it has a broad range of application.
I would like to call Ritesh for the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon to our principal ma'am, teachers, my dear friends, and everyone gathered here. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard to make this webinar of grade 8 possible. My most sincere thanks to everyone for making today's event a resounding success. Special thanks to the academic administrators and all the teachers for their constant guidance and support. I would also like to thank people who work behind the scene, the IT department, without whom the event wouldn't be as seamless. We spread the fragrance of love and renew our obligations. Once again, I thank all for your cordial cooperation. Thank you.